Really?
Everyone has to rename. So he's going to say.
Just a request, if people are joining from the iPhone or any other devices, to please rename them so we can see who's actually joined the meeting. Thank you.
We can't take it unless we.
For those who just joined, we're just waiting to hit quorum, so please bear with us a few more minutes. Thank you. For those who just joined, we're just waiting to hit quorum. Inshallah, we'll be able to commence the next 2 or 3 minutes. Just a request, if you can change the name of your device to your full name, so we can just check who's joined. Thank you.
Two more members.
We just need 2 more members to join to get us to the quorum of 50. Can I please request those who joined and haven't changed the name of their device, please do so we can recognize who you are. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gents. Thank you for joining. We've now officially hit quorum as per both the old constitution of Stanmore Jafferys and the new constitution for Stanmore Jafferys CIO. So thank you very much. It's a Sunday morning. I appreciate with madrasa runs, it's a bit of a challenge. So thank you for joining. We'll quickly start off the meeting with a few verses of the Holy Quran recited by Brother Wasim Fazal.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تدليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترمهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول صدق الله العلي العظيم.
صل على محمد.
Thank you, Wasim. We'll now officially begin the meeting. The agenda for today is as follows, and I think you should be able to see that on the screens pretty shortly. We'll start off with a financial report by our treasurer, Brother Mustafa Daya. We'll then have the current SCA chair's end of term address. We'll then move on to the Hujjat president address, to be followed by the elections that will be conducted by our very own Shabardala. And then we'll have the 2022-24 term outlook from the incoming committee, and then we'll close with dua and ziyarat. So inshallah, we should be done within an hour. Just a few house rules. Request everyone to please go on mute. Please do be aware that this meeting is being recorded as well. And if anyone has a question to ask, please put your hand up and we will request that you unmute yourself, and if possible, put yourself on camera when speaking. I'll now call upon Mustafa Daya to present a short treasury report.
Okay, thank you very much, Shane. So, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm just going to give you a very quick overview of the 2021 finances and some of the objectives for 2022. First slide, please. So since 2020, the gents have moved on to the pay-as-you-go model for weekly sports. So that is the same as the ladies. So from 2020 onwards, gents and ladies are both pay-as-you-go on a weekly basis. The income here is comprised of our annual subscriptions, weekly pay-as-you-go for each sport, and income from sponsors. Income for 2021 combined was almost £126,000. So this is ladies and gents. Expenditure was around £130,000 for ladies and gents, which leaves us with a deficit of around £4,600. Now, a couple of points to note. The £4,600 includes £4,500 we spent on the legal fees for the CIO applications and so on. These are also not the final accounts. We're still working on the final accounts. They should be ready by the end of Q1 2022. So there'll still be some adjustments going through, but overall, these are the figures. There shouldn't be too much variation from this. Looking forward to 2022, obviously, we want robust financial planning. We've been moving towards this for the last few years now. This year, we've tightened up on our budgeting process. So we have looked, each sports head has provided a budget which has been reviewed and challenged before it's been approved. So we want to really strengthen our financial processes. We're also looking at, as a CIO now, we need to be stronger on our financial safeguards and policies. So that's something we are actively working on. And the third kind of major objective is the standardization of processes between ladies and gents. So at the moment, until now, obviously the ladies and gents have been functioning separately. We're now standardizing processes so that everything is mirrored across both teams. Next slide, please. So just finally, I'd like to thank the team, starting with the Treasury team, Fatima Zahra as the Ladies Treasurer, and Sail Walji and Buraya Laji as the Assistant Treasurers for Gents and Ladies. Obviously, everyone is a volunteer, and without their support and help, all of this would be not possible. So thank you very much, guys. I'd also like to mention this point, thank you to our outgoing chair, Shafiq Gawani and Khan Kasumi as the Secretary General. Both of you have been incredibly supportive and an inspiration over these years. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you. Thank you. And lastly, I'd like to thank all the sports heads for all the continued hard work and so on. Obviously, they're doing an incredible job on a weekly basis running the sports. But equally, they are presenting budgets, they're making sure that everything's safe financially, etc. So a lot of pressure on them to do all of this. Thank you. And lastly, to the members. Without the members, this club would not be possible. The journey would not be possible. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mustafa. I know I put a bit of pressure on you in the last few weeks to get this budget process over the line, but as Mustafa mentioned, it's part of, as we transition into a new structure, a new organization, we've got to have processes in place that are robust and fit for purpose. So thank you to everyone who's been part of that. I'll now hand over to Shafiq to give his end of term address, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Brothers and sisters, my elders, dear SJ community, SJ members, Assalamu alaikum. Those who know me really well would probably have expected a black folder in front of me and pages and pages with text on it, because that's typically how I deliver my message, whether it's in the center or in front of an audience, live audience, or whether it's online. And it's not that I haven't prepared anything for today. Indeed, I have. And there's a speech sitting here on my phone, and I never use my phone for a delivery. But this morning when I was having my morning coffee and I was looking at my speech and I was looking at the words that I wrote and the sentiments I tried to express in writing, in written words, I had a debate with myself whether this is the message I want to give in the AGM today, or is it something different? And I made a decision that although everyone is now used to and accustomed to, and Shane in particular over the past 12 months have had and heard many of my lectures and my majlises, and probably tired of it now as well, Shane. And normally I would continue with that, but today I've decided to take a slightly different turn. I know it's Sunday morning. People have invested and sacrificed time to listen to or tune into the AGM and give us the support that we so many times get from the members to carry on our work and our duties here at HQ. I will spare you the pain of a long lecture today, a long speech. I will, however, record it separately And then those who want to listen to it can do so. And if you don't want to, then that's perfectly fine as well. But actually, if you look at it, I don't need a 8-page long speech. And by now you probably think, oh, thank God he's not giving that speech. I don't need a 8 or 10-page long speech to share my sentiments and my feelings and my views of this club, because the narrative actually is in front of us. The narrative and the journey that the club is undertaking and has undertaken for so many years is actually narrated by yourselves, the members, the volunteers, people here at HQ, the sports heads, and the Hujjat community as a whole, the community, the members, because all of you, in one way or form or shape, play a massive, massive role in the whole Stanmore Jafferys setup. It's not only the HQ, it's not only the sports heads, but it's part and parcel of everyone and everything within our community. And it is a privilege and an honor for me to sit here today. And I don't have the number of chair or chairmen that have been here before me in the institution. But for me, it's been an honor and a pleasure to join the ranks of those who have built the club over the years, both on the gents side and the ladies side. An incredible amount of work that has been put into the institution. We have led the club at different phases in its journey. And the beauty of an organization such as Stanmore Jafferys is that it's all about building blocks. It's all about standing on each other's shoulders and witness and deliver a continuous growth. And if you look at the history in the past 20 to 25 years, you can see evidently in front of you the changes that have taken place at the right time. The things that we've undergone in the past 3 years, it wasn't the right time in 2005 or 2007 or even 1995. The things that we've delivered in the 3 years, the time was right in the last 3 years. And so the point I'm trying to make here is that all the work that has gone on in the last term is not because of our own doing. It's not because the current team's doing. It's because the platform and the scene was set by the previous teams and the previous volunteers and those who have been part of this growth over the years. And therefore, I don't want to sit here and go through with a PowerPoint presentation in terms of what we've done and what delivery has been there. And I'll do that separately later on, and you know, you'll have access to that online. But today I wanted to speak from my heart, and I think just being part of this great club and seeing my own children being part of it, growing with the club. And I remember my daughter and my son, they were young when I joined the Stanmore community, and you know, they've been part of the club in one way or one form. And for me, to judge the success of the club is not necessarily looking at the data points of how many people we have in a weekly session, how many tournaments we've arranged, or how many trophies we brought home. And inshallah, we'll continue to bring home, Shane. I measure the outcome and the input and the delivery and the inspiration and the impact And those are the two words that I've used throughout the last 3 years: inspiration and impact. And I guess I can judge that from the improvement I've seen in my kids, not only from a sports perspective, the work that all the coaches have put in and made them a better player, but extending from there, the well-rounded people my young children have become. Because ultimately, many times we see the sports ground as a place where you will coach them to become a better tennis player, or become a better cyclist, or become a better runner, become a better football player. And that's great, because ultimately that's what we are here for. But what I see in my young children is that the impact that the coaches have made, the inspiration the coaches have given them, that for me is invaluable. And I see our coaches and our volunteers very much like teachers. Now you've got teachers in madrasa and you've got lecturers in mosque when you go for majlises. But for me, the sports field, be it the tennis court, or be it the cycling circuit, or be it the football pitch, the opportunity that our coaches and our volunteers have to make a change and make an impact and inspire people, that is arguably the best platform in our community that we have. And for me, it's been all about, of course, giving the better quality, increasing the number of sports that we can offer, putting processes in place, working on the branding and the PR. And for those who know, that's something that I've been extremely precious about the branding, the name, the exposure. But ultimately, the driving source for me was the impact and inspiration that we can derive from the activities. And that I can see week in, week out, when I go to the sessions, when I look at the coaches and the volunteers. And as I said, I use my kids as a benchmark and as a measurement, because previously my previous roles, and you can see I don't have a script here today, and I'm literally talking from my heart. When I became the principal of madrasa in 2006, for me, I wanted to change the community. I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that, and I had this great vision in front of me. And then in 2015 and 2016, I took over the Stanmore Jafferys Football Academy, as it was called then, and now subsequently it's now the football club. And it was about changing part of a community. And then when I was approaching 2019 to take over this great club and this great institution that we were all part of, there was a lot of thought behind it. And Abbas, who I think is on the call, I don't know how many visits and how many conversations we had. But ultimately, the driving factor at that time was not to change the world. It was not to change a community. It was not to change the department even. It wasn't for myself. But I was looking at my children, and I said that if I'm going to add value to your lives in the community, then the only way I can do that from a community perspective is to get involved once again. And that was the prime reason. And by extension, by doing that for my own children, I hope and I pray that I've added value to all the children in the community. Because I think everything that we do in life is something that feeds off the stuff that we do the input that we have and the time that we spend on our own children, by extension is always going to be extended to the rest of the community. I was part of an interview only 2 days ago, Shane and myself, and the question I was asked, why is community service so important? And the answer I guess you were expecting from that was because it's our duty, it's our responsibility, we need to give back to the community, and all those standard answers, and those are all right. But the answer I gave to the person who was interviewing me was, well, actually, I strongly believe, and as I said, you know, from 20 years ago, I wanted to change the world and change the community. I told him that with experience in hand and having seen this community and worked in parts of the community, I think actually community work is a natural instinct. All of us have it within ourselves to serve this community. And we'll do that in different ways. As I said, you can do that as being a coach or being part of a management team, or even making the choice to lead a community. That's a natural instinct. But I think what we need to think is actually we need to do it for ourselves. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If I go into a position, I should do it for myself, because when I take part in something, it makes me grow as a person. It makes me increase my understanding of how the world works. And I'll tell you today that the work that I've been privileged to do, be it in World Federation or be it in Madrasa or be it in Stanmore Jafferys, it's actually taught me lessons that no workplace has taught me, no business has taught me, no other place that I've been engaged in has taught me. Community work has actually added so much value in terms of understanding people, understanding cultures, managing people, managing situations. And all of that I take with me, and I use that in my working life and in my business life. And the reason I'm mentioning all of this is this community is very much based on individuals. Yes, we can have structures and we can have processes and protocols in place, but what actually drives this community is people. People like you sitting here on my left-hand side, on my right-hand side, in front of me, all of you online, people who have chosen not to be part of this AGM today for a number of reasons, and understandably so. But this whole organization it's all about people. How we respect people, how we treat people fairly. And yes, there will be times and occasions and situations when we'll have differences of opinions. We'll do things differently. But ultimately, we do that because we have the love for the club and we want the best for the organization. As long as we have that in mind, and as long as we understand that particular aspect and component of our community work, then everything else will come automatically. One of the things that I wrote in my speech, and sorry, it's becoming a lecture in itself, is about building the culture. And if you look at organizations out there, whether it's a commercial organization or whether it is a charity organization or whether it's a sports organization, the success of the work that is being done in that setup is ultimately based on the culture that has been created in that institution. And the culture that we have here in Stanmore Jafferys is second to none. I mean, you know, members, you feel that, I'm sure. And the volunteers live that day in, day out, week in, week out. I'm looking at our coaches on a freezing Saturday morning, and I still haven't understood why here in the UK we play football during the winter season. I've said that, and I'll continue to say that. 8:30 in the morning, goes to Maple Cross, sets up the net. It's raining, sometimes snowing, but they do that. And many times we have coaches who don't even have kids in the system yet. And inshallah, you know, may they have kids who grow up and become part of the organization. You have people sitting in meetings until 2 o'clock at night just to deliver a budget that Shane has been asking for. To plan the session, to organize a world-class 5-star tournament like the Marhaba Festival, like the Salam Cup, like the SGRS Rackets Festival. Burning midnight oil to prepare for the flagship and landmark AWA campaign, not only locally, but nationally and internationally. And not to make sure that the route is planned or the food is in place when you reach the first point or checkpoint, but also at the same time gather the troops and deliver a massive fundraising campaign so that our brothers and sisters around the world can benefit from that midnight oil that we've burned. And I'm just giving you parts of the operation that we're delivering. And I can sit here and give you a lecture for the next 2 or 3 hours. And even then, that won't be enough in terms of what value this organization is bringing to the community. And for me, I've been here for 3 years. I've been surrounded by talented individuals, passionate individuals, committed people who I didn't even know before I engaged with the organization, but people who today have become probably my best friends. And you know who you are if you're listening to this. And this is what the club is all about. It creates a platform not only for the kids to create a friendship circle and bonds, but it also gives us at our age an opportunity to create new ties and build new networks. And I'm looking at the people around me, and I'm actually blessed to have people around me. You know, for me, it's easy to sit here and give a speech and write articles and deliver the inspirational words, but the work that's actually been carried out is phenomenal. It's actually extraordinary, and I don't have words to describe the work that goes into the institution. I've been asked the question, so how much time do you put into the club? And I sit down and look at myself and I think, well, actually, is it 40 hours a month, or is it 50 hours a month, or is it 60 hours a month? There is no timesheet. I look at Kayam. I give him a request at night, and it's done in the morning. And I really don't know how he fits it in. I speak to Shane, and with his operational mind, things are done within timescales not expected by a volunteer. I've been on Mustafa's case, and I need that number and this number, and sorry? No, not at all. Mustafa sitting in front of me here. And I've just mentioned a few names because I'm surrounded by them here. The conversations and the engagement that we have with the ladies' side, Sabia and Samina. And I think this is one point that I really want to mention, is that we worked as an organization, but we worked with like two parallel organizations for a number of years, and naturally so, because that's the way the club was set up. But bit by bit, Sabia and Samina, I think we have worked on it. How can we collaborate more with each other? How can we streamline processes? How can we make sure that we work in a way that is the best way for the community and for the club? And I think officially the CIO that we are working so hard to put in place, a club of our status needed that framework and that structure that wrapped us in not only the legal structure, which is of course extremely important, and throughout the process we've given you the narrative why we went down the route we did. I'm going to repeat that in my speech later on, which I'll be recording when everyone's gone. I think that also symbolizes the work that we've carried out over the past 20 years in terms of working in harmony, creating that unity between all segments and departments of our community. And I would say actually that we once again become a benchmark in our structure from that perspective. I mean, I've looked at a number of sports clubs out there in the wider society, but particularly, I guess, in our community, and I don't think anyone's got the setup that we have at the moment. In particular, the collaboration, especially in the last 12 to 24 months, I would say, has been really commendable. I would say, yes, we work in different ways for sure, and you know, we got different approaches, but ultimately the results that come out of the work that we do together is, you know, I've seen that live. I've seen that, you know, I can put my finger on the pulse, and that for me is difficult to explain here online, here on screen, but people who are part of the process, they know. Finally, I would like to extend my thanks to a lot of people. People who were with me when I was part of the team who built the Stanmore Jafferys Football Academy. People who've been with me over the past 3 years. I can say thanks again and again, but ultimately it is the Almighty who will reward you and the club for the work that you have put in. I would like to thank Hujjat for the great support that you've always shown to the organization. I've been privileged to work with a number of presidents of the community, and currently Sipton Bayan and his team. September, I know you tuned in from far and you know, sitting abroad at the moment, but you've taken the time to tune in. Thank you very much to you and to your team for the ongoing support. Our sponsors, without their financial support, and I won't mention the company names because there are numerous, whether there's a sponsor for a tournament or a club sponsor or silent sponsor for that matter, your engagement is invaluable. There's, you know, I can't put a value to the £500 or the £5,000 or the £50 that you put in. It's not possible. The volunteers, 120 plus, I would say, today, ladies and gents, the members who take part in the activities, the Hujjat community who has given us unconditional love whether it's a fundraising campaign, whether it's a tournament that we've arranged, or whether it's a game that is taking place on Saturday morning, where the parents come in and give their time. Again, there's no value I can put on it. The management team in my first term, the management team in my second term, as I extended it just to complete the CIO mission. The support you've given me, and finally my family who've had the patience, my long phone calls, my meetings, everything that I've had to do over the past 3 years. I've promised you that I'm going to take a long sabbatical now. I've been offered a number of positions as soon as I announced my retirement. Don't worry, I'm not going to take any positions for a long time. But community work is something that is very dear to me. I've always been an institutional person. And inshallah, I'll be there to support the next team. I'm only a phone call away or a WhatsApp message away from any piece of advice if you ever needed that. And I can only see growth, progress, and success of this club going forward. I know elections are taking place in the next few moments, hopefully. And I wish the team all the best, and I wish the club all the best. Looking forward to now coming to a training session or a football game or a rackets training with my coffee. And this is for Zaid Ibrahim in particular. I know you're on mute, so you can't say anything. I also have a Stanmore Jafferys mug as well here, just to balance things up. And this, Shane, if you want, I'll give it to you. Okay, your smile says everything. And on a final note, once again, thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless the institution. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Shafiq, for that speech. Quite a few pieces of advice that I'm sure we'll take on board, and I know we'll be talking very often into the night. So I know you're retiring, but we will always need your support. And like you said, we can't attach a value to what we offer the community. I don't think we can give you enough thanks for what you've done for the community for the last 2 or 3 years as chair, but also in reviving Stanmore Jafferys football. I know it's kind of like the hub of our activities on a weekly basis. We have over about 120 young boys under the age of 16 who turn up every week, and that's partly a lot of it down to your work and the coach's work. But in terms of thanks, we can give you something. It's just to show our gratitude. And unfortunately, as a Manc, I can't make that award because I do not touch anything associated with a certain football club, which shall not be named. But I have, can I ask Shabat to just come and give you something that will...
I can see Wasim is stressed about it.
Considering he can't touch it. So considering he can't touch it, right?
Oh my God, this wasn't expected at all. Zaid, can you see that? Stay on mute, Zaid. We need to keep the meeting decorum.
Yes, please, Ziggy, stay on mute. And talking about awards, there's 2 people. I mean, there's lots of people we can award, but there is 2 people in particular. When I took over, both of them are in this room at this moment. So could I ask Shafiq to hand an award to Shabar now for all the work, Shabar, you have helped us in the last 12 months. And in fact, I think I rang you yesterday lunchtime for a few words as well. So your support is always invaluable, and I know it's always going to be there. So Shafiq, can you please give Shabar an award?
Services.
Trustee.
So as I Shabba, please said, for 2 seconds only. As a leadership from leadership perspective, as I mentioned, the team around you is so important. But it's not your immediate circle that you sit with, your secretary and your treasurer and the vice chair, etc. It's a circle just outside that remit that you can lean on, you can call, you can send a message, you can ask for advice, and someone who can give you that advice in a transparent way, in an honest way, not being biased at all, and to have someone that you can rely on for that is absolutely invaluable. Jabbar, you've been a great supporter of this club for a very long time, whether it's official capacity or not having an official hat. But you know what? You have been part of the community in different aspects. I've known you for a long time, and I really value the service you're giving to our club. And also the work that you did for the CIO to just get it over the line. Only I know how much input there's been, how many hours, how many meetings, things that we don't, put a timesheet for. But all in all, Shabbar, thank you very much, and may God bless you for all your services. A small token of appreciation.
Thank you.
Just for the camera. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next award is for a person who I didn't know really before I took up this position, and a person who epitomizes silent work, a person who does not like the limelight, does not like any exposure, does not want to come in front of the camera.
It's going to kill you.
Yeah.
I know. Someone who is always not even one, not even two, but 3 steps ahead. And I guess he only needed 2 or 3 weeks to get to know me. And after the 4th week, he was in control. And for me to deliver whatever little I've been able to do over the past 36 months would literally been impossible without him. There are people who are defined by a role and a position, but then there are people who actually define that role themselves. And for that, Kayam, he's looking at me, he's my own cue. Yeah. In its true sense, Kayam, your services to the club, even before I came to this organization, but in particular the past 36 months, if I ever was to take a position again, Kayam, it will be make sure that you have your calendar free for those whatever number of months. But again, I'm not taking any positions in the very, very near future. Kayam, can you please just join me for the last 2 minutes of my term here? There we go. It's only a glass trophy, Kayam. And I was very close to sending you the request to order a trophy. But Wasim came to my rescue and did the necessary, and it was difficult to keep it a secret on our group. But Kayam, thank you very much. Your services are invaluable. Yeah. Take the camera, photo that camera. Done. Can 2 pieces of work.
No,
No, please, you have to. You have to.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All I can say is this community is very dear to me. Having migrated from East Africa back in 2001, I took me about 10, 11 years before I got the opportunity to serve the community. And all I can say is thank you to every member of the club, of the community, of the executive committee of Hujjat. They've all been very supportive. All I can give a piece of advice to any young people out there, the under 16s, or even those who are now between the ages of 30 and 40 and have some time to spare, is give your time to the community, because you will do it not just for yourself and for your akhirat, but you're going to do it for your children. That's my 2 pieces of advice on that. Thank you.
It's yours.
Thank you.
Shane, over to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to echo that sentiment, part of my dedication to volunteering is driven by the services that my dad put towards the community in Mombasa, but inspired by Kayam. I've known Kayam since I was a little boy, and I haven't seen someone serve the community as much as he has in East Africa and here. So Kayam, thank you so much for all you've done for us. I'll swiftly move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the Hujjat President Address. Sitan Bhai kindly recorded a message for us that we will play now. So there we go.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My dear SGM members, Salamun Alaikum. Stanmore Jafferys plays an essential and central role in our community by bringing everyone together and keeping us all healthy and fit. It is great to see Hujjat members involved on a regular basis as sports coordinators, participants, and donors to the great fundraisers SJ organizes. On behalf of KSIMC of London, I would like to thank Shafiq Bhai Gowani for the excellent work you and your team have done in this term. As an SJ member myself and part of SJ arranging these events, but nothing is difficult if you do it with passion, and I have seen passion from everyone involved. The team has done a great job, and I congratulate once again you and your entire crew. I am pleased to see that SJ is embarking on a new legal structure under CIO. My compliments to the team who have worked tirelessly to bring SJ to this new Since today, I would like to wish all the very best. And to the new office bearers, do remember Hujjat will always be there to support you. Wassalam.
Thank you, Sitan Bhai, and I know you're watching from wherever you are in the world right now. Now swiftly hand over to Shabar, who will conduct the election process for us.
Shane, thank you very much, man.
Shafiq.
I'll take this with me.
Yes, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. President of Hujjat, Sipten Bhai, still the chair of SJ Shafiq, the chair of SJ Ladies, Sabiha Bhai, and members, Salamun Alaikum. I have a very simple role to do today, which is to run the elections for Stanmore Jafferys CIO. So my preamble is 60 seconds, and then we go into the nitty-gritties of the matter. This is the first time we are running the election for SJ CIO, so this is the transitioning that the community is taking from where it was into the new legal structure. It may be 30 years that we remember, but actually it is 1958 since when this journey started to where we are today, and all it has done is evolve through various channels and processes to where we are today. Every community that has come has done what it needed to do, and what we have done in transitioning this to CIO is exactly that, is embed and build the second foundation, or the third, or the fifth, or the 10th foundation for this to be fit for purpose for the next 30 years, for the next evolution that will take place. So that is what we have done. I think Sipten Bhai's message was very important, that there is close working with KSIMC of London. What we've actually done is actually solidified that position by doing what we have done for what was always an unwritten rule that SJ was always working with Hujjat. It is now formalized through the CIO structure. That's all it has done, right? So we have the new document, the new constitution embeds that relationship into a formal relationship of what it needs to do, and hopefully it will take it to the next stage. Very briefly, Stanmore Jafferys CIO now has a board of trustees followed by two management teams. You have the management team that runs the ladies sports and the management team that runs the gents sports. The board of directors are there as a strategic oversight, ultimately having fiduciary responsibility of the entire club. This is now what we say from them to us into we. That is what it is. The board looks after the entire club, both of ladies and gents, and then the ladies and gents have got specific responsibilities of it all. What are unique about us that is not usual in what we are used to as a community? It's got a rotation and it has got independent members onto the board. Because this is a transitioning process, Sabihawai and her team will automatically be transitioned into the new roles, which are now called head of ladies sports and the head of, so the whole entire management committee for the ladies is being transitioned in. So what we are going to do is elect the management team for the gents. And that fits in with our new model of a rotation as opposed to a wholesale change every 3 years. However, since we are a CIO and the board has independent members, we will start with the election of the independent members. The new board will have to set much more detailed rules around elections, but today we will use the standard simple processes of I will take a nomination. I will then talk to the individual who is being nominated to ensure that they are members of our community, i.e. paid members of KSIMC of London. Kayam will ensure that they are members of Stanmore Jafferys. We will then have a seconder before I take the next name. And if we've got multiple names, then we will go on to online voting. And if that happens, Kayam has said that an email will then go out to all the members who have registered so that they can cast their vote. We will elect the board members first before we go to the gents team, right? If there are any questions and anything, I suggest you either raise your hand on Zoom. If I don't see it or if I haven't responded, you can come off mute and ask for any clarification that you need. I'm going to give 20 seconds for anybody who has any questions or any queries to raise them now. And with the support of Kayam and Shane, they are going to look at the screen to see if anybody has any queries or questions before we begin the election process itself for the board first. So I will assume there are no questions. So what we are doing is we are starting with the election of the board of the charity trustees under clause 12.3.1 of the Constitution of Stanmore Jafferys.
Question has just been posed.
Yes.
The seconder has to be a paid member?
Correct. The simple answer is yes. So whilst I appreciate Stanmore Jafferys have allowed non-members into the meeting, it is a members meeting. Therefore, only a member can nominate a member member of the board of trustees under 12.3.14, one female elected by the entire membership at the annual general meeting. So the first election we are going to start is going to be, sorry, is there a comment from?
Correct, there is a comment.
From Jamil?
Yes.
What did you say?
Have a look at the chat.
Chat. Membership for 2022 have not been issued. That is correct. So what we have done under the transition clause is that they have grandfathered everybody who had paid their basic membership of 2021 into the 2022, because it is actually the board of trustees of SJCIO who will then set the membership for SJ going forward. Therefore, as part of the transitioning process, everybody who was a member of 2021 automatically has been, inverted commas, grandfathered into SJ CIO. So that is how we have managed that process. So we are going to, so I'm now opening nominations for the female independent trustee at the Board of Trustees. So I have Fatima Merali, who's raised her hand. Fatima Merali?
I'd like to nominate Sophia Tharu.
So Fatima Merali is nominating Sophia Tharu for the independent member. Sophia online. If Sophia is online, I just need to have a quick check that 1, she is okay for her name to be nominated. 2, she is a paid member of KSMC of London. You are of SJ, so I just need those 2 bits. Sophia, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Yes and yes.
Thank you very much. Before I take a second name, I need a seconder, but I saw another hand that was raised. So, but before I take the second nomination, I need a seconder for Safia Baitaru's nomination by Fatima Merali to be the female member at the Board of Trustees. So do we have a seconder? I have a name that says Fatima C on Zoom. Can you come off and confirm that you are seconding that?
Yes, I'm Fatima Chatpar. I'm seconding Sophia Tharu.
Thank you very much, Fatima Bai. Insofar as seconders are concerned, there could be many, but the key bit is, do we have another nomination for the appointment, for the election of the female board member at SJCIO? I have Sajida Bai Karmali Panju's hand up. Sajida Bai?
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I would like to put myself forward actually for the nomination.
Sajida Bai, you need somebody who is another member to put your name forward. So you need somebody from the membership to put yourself forward, so I can have a proposer and a seconder for your name. So I have no problem if any member who is present is willing to nominate Sajida Bai Panju as the second individual. Can I have?
Yeah, sorry, just Sajida Panju. I forgot my maiden name is in there, but yeah, Sajida Panju, tennis coordinator. And if anybody is keen to nominate, then I'd be grateful. But otherwise, Sophia is a really good choice as well.
Thank you, Sajida Bai. So do I have a proposal? And I'll need the help of Kayam and Shane to see if we've got any names coming up. So if we can put Sajida Bai's hand down, that it's easy for us to look at what's going on. Thank you very much. So do I have a proposer for Sajida Bai Panju who wants to put her name forward herself?
Can someone from the gent side propose?
No, it has to be the lady side because it's specific. Sorry, in fact, sorry, my apologies. Yes, it can be, but because the entire membership is electing for the independent.
Yeah,
so yes, it can be. Can I? I'm working through Zoom and stuff. So can I please have your name?
My name is Maysam Datu.
Maysam Datu. So Maysam Datu, I've just been told by Kayam that you are not currently on the membership list of SJ. So you are not able to propose that name. Can I have a paid member of SJ please proposing that name if there is any?
Yeah, I propose her name. My name is Mumtaz Ali Qasim.
Captain Mac, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, alaikum salam.
Mumtaz Bai Qasim is nominating Sajida Bai Panju for the independent position. I now need, I've spoken, well, Sajida Bai is proposed. Sajida Bai, can you please confirm that you are a member, a paid up member of KSMC of London, please?
Salam, thank you, Brother Mac. I don't think we've met, but I appreciate the nomination. And I should be a paid up member, grandfathered in, as you say. Otherwise, I'm doing a bad job as a
member of Hujjat, KSMC of London.
I should be. I don't know if I'm paid up for this year yet.
Sajida Bai, I can't do should be. So what I will do is we will have to run elections anyway, so that's not a problem. And I need a seconder. But since you are not sure, I will need to see if you can send your updated receipt or something to the secretariat. Secretary at jeffries.org, your paid up Jamaat membership before I can run the elections. I don't have a problem. We will do that. That's not an issue, but I need
Jamaat, Jamaat, not SJ, right?
Jamaat, yes, not SJ. You are already an SJ member because otherwise,
yeah,
the
obviously.
membership.
Yeah.
So I need to, because a trustee of the SJ CIO has got the requirement that not only have they got to be 18 and over, but they also have to be members of KSIMC of London. So if you could do that, then we can continue. That's not a problem. While Sajida Bai is doing that, do I have a seconder, please, for Sajida Bai's nomination? Do I have a seconder for Sajida Bai's nomination? I need a seconder from the membership before, and subject to her being a member, to make effectively her nomination live to be able to be voted on. Otherwise, I cannot do that for her.
I'm more than happy to submit to Sophia Tharu to take the position, because I obviously have to get my
That's
paper.
not a problem, Sajida Bai. I just need a seconder while you're looking for your membership. Do I have a seconder? So at the moment, I can't. I've got one hand raised. Zaid Ali Kesvani.
Assalamu alaikum. I will second.
You will second. Thank you very much, Zaid Ali. What I now need to do is, we've got potentially two candidates, but I still haven't had clearance from Sajida Bai about her membership of Hujjat. So what I will do is I will allow her time to get that, and I will move to the second set before I come back to it. Otherwise, what will end up happening is we'll have to take a break, and there's no point doing that, right? So at the moment, when it comes to 12.3.14 on the female board of trustee members, we have Safia Bai Tharu and we've got Sajida Bai Panju. Sajida Bai Panju is subject to me receiving confirmation that she's a member of KSIMC of London. And as soon as we do that, then we will go into the election. The next position that we need to elect is the male member elected by the members at the AGM. This is under 12.3.13. So can I have a nomination for the gents independent board trustee? I have Shiraz Jamal's hand up. Shiraz Bhai, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Shabar. Can I please propose Zahid Bai Kimji, please?
Thank you very much. Zahid is sitting in front of me, so I'm going to ask him if he is a member of KSIMC of London and he consents to this nomination.
Yes, to both.
Thank you very much. So he says yes to both. Now, for Zahid's nomination to be live, I need a seconder. I have got Hasnain Ramtullah. Hasnain, assalamu alaikum. Hasnain, assalamu alaikum. Hasnain, you are on mute.
If we cannot unmute, I will second Zahid.
Is that Muntazir?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Muntazir. Muntazir Rajwani is seconding Zahid Kimji. That's fine. Kayam is checking the membership. And I have Hasnain Ramtullah, who is also seconding. So we are okay. So we've got, that is fine. You can have multiple seconders. That is absolutely fine. Hasnain, if you put your hand down, do I have another name for the gents position insofar for the board of trustees? Yeah. Do I have another? Okay, somebody call iPhone. Can you please? I would suggest come on video so I can see who you are, or tell us who you are, and if you propose a name. So there is a member called iPhone. Either you need to come off mute so we can have muted. So I have Shabir Mulji who's got his hand up now. Shabir bhai, Assalamu alaikum. Shabir, you need to come off mute.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you
Yeah,
now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
I would like to
salam.
propose the name of Muntazir Rajwani, please.
Muntazir Rajwani. Muntazir, are you online?
Yes, I am Shabar Bhai. First of all, let me just say thank you to Shabir Mulji, but I am in no capacity to take that role, please. Thank you.
Ahsan.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Shabir. And thank you very much, Muntazir bhai. Do we have any other nominations? I had iPhone. I don't know if he's still there. Okay, fair enough. Do we have any other nominations? Considering we have no other nomination, and the only candidate for the position of the one male elected by members of the AGM for the Board of Trustees under 12.3.13 is Zahid Bhai Kimji. It is my honor and responsibility to confirm that the elected board trustee at SJCIO for the independent male member is Zahid Kimji. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa in relation to 12.3.14, I had asked Sajida Bai Panju to check her membership. She has just put it in, she has just confirmed that she has not yet updated her membership. Therefore, she is withdrawing her nomination, which is fine. And therefore, the only person standing for the female member, independent member to the Board of Trustees is Safia Bai Tharu. Safia Bai, many congratulations for being the first female elected to the Board of Trustees of SJCIO. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The board is made up of the head of gents sports, the head of ladies sports, now Zahid Bhai Kimji and Safia Bai Tharu, and then they are two nominated or recommended individuals which the board will then approve to be trustees, and the fifth one is a trustees appointed or nominated by KSIMC of London, who has a permanent seat on the board. As I have explained, the head of ladies, Sabiha Bai, is automatically transitioned in to the board. We therefore now move to the management committee election for the gents sports. Now, Shane will be the first, or Shafiq will be the last chairman, I suppose, of SJ, because there is no chair of SJ now, because there is a board of trustees. So I think he can carry that title with him in the sunset. The new roles are now for the head of gents sports. The process is exactly the same. However, to my sisters, this time, when it comes to the management committee election, it is the election by gender specific. So the ladies would elect the ladies team, the gents would elect the gents team. It's when you're electing the board, it is the entire membership that elects the board. So for the head of gents sports, can I please have a nomination for the new role as head of gents sports? The same process.
I nominate Shen Mirali for the head of sports gents.
Thank you. Is that Kumel Khaki?
Sajjad Hamir.
Sajjad Hamir. So sorry. So Sajjad Hamir is nominating Shane Mirali. It's the same two questions I will ask Shane. He's sitting next to me, whether he accepts the nomination and is a member of KSIMC of London.
Yes and yes.
Thank you very much. So I have a nomination. I have Kumel Khaki's
I second
name.
it.
Seconded by Muntazir Rajwani. I also have, I had Kumel Khaki's hand up. Do you have a nomination, a seconding?
I'll second it as well, Musafir Somani.
Musafir Somani seconding as well. Insofar as seconding is concerned, we can have the entire membership or we can have as many. The key bit is now Shane's nomination is live. Is there another nomination for head of gents sports? I have Hasnain Ramtullah's hand up. Hasnain? No, Hasnain's hand's gone down. Any other nomination? I'll have to do the auction style now, gone once. Is there any other nomination for the post of head of gents sports? If there isn't anybody, it gives me great pleasure to announce the election of head of sports gents under 18.1.1 and the new head of gents sports being Shane Merali. The next one is going to be the gents vice sports head. So this is, in our old language, the vice chair, now called gents vice sports lead. Can I have a nomination? I need a nomination for the gents vice sports lead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Can you
It's Nazir.
identify yourself, please?
Yeah, Nazir Rajwani.
Nazir. Assalamu alaikum, Nazir.
Alaikum salam. I'd like
who are
to
you
nominate
nominating?
Wasim Fazil.
Wasim Fazil. So Wasim is in the room. Same two questions. Member of KSIMC of London, and you are happy to accept the nomination.
Yes.
I
Thank you
second
very much.
Wasim Fazil.
Thank you, Dr. Munir. I recognize that voice. So it's been seconded by Dr. Munir Datu.
I will second that as well. Please.
Is that Captain Mac as well? Thank
Yes,
you very
indeed.
much,
Indeed.
Captain Mac. We can have many seconders. Any other nomination for the vice sports lead? If there isn't any, then it gives me great pleasure to announce under 18.1.1 Wasim Fazil as the gents vice sports lead. Congratulations, Wasim. Allah. The gents sports secretary is an appointed position, so is the assistant secretary role, which will be the responsibility of Shane Merali to do. The next elected position is the gents sports treasurer. So we need a treasurer for the gents sports section. Can I have a nomination from the gents membership? I have one hand up. I'm just trying to work out who that is. If you can come off mute, that's fine. I've got Sajjad. Is that Sajjad Hamir or Sajjad?
Yeah, Sajjad Amir, yes.
Sajjad, thank you, Sajjad. Who are you nominating?
I nominate Mustafa Daya, please.
Thank you very much. So Sajjad Hamir is nominating Mustafa Daya, who's the current treasurer, who's also here. So I'm just going to ask you the same question. Member of KSIMC of London and happy to accept the nomination. Yes. So both are yeses, so he's happy. Can I have a seconder for? I heard Dr. Munir's voice. There was another voice I couldn't hear. But I will take the proposal.
He's beaten me again to seconding it.
Mullah, Sir Captain Mac, I will take that as a seconder as well, and I'm sure Munir will not mind scoping the place. So it's been proposed by Sajjad Hamir for Mustafa Daya, seconded by Captain Mac, and Munir Datu for the role of treasurer. Do I have any other nominations?
I nominate Musafir Somani.
Can I just get your name?
Khalil Jawad.
Khalil. Thank you, Khalil. So Khalil Bhai is nominating Musafir Bhai Somani. Is Musafir Bhai Somani online?
Yes, I am. Khalil, thank you very much. But you know my age, right? I'm retiring soon. Thank you very much. No, I'll decline this. Thank you. maybe in the next one, inshallah. I'll go for the bigger one.
Inshallah.
You have to wait 3 years for that.
So Musafir Bhai is withdrawing that. If we've got no other nomination under 18.1.1. The new Gents Sports Treasurer is Mustafa Bai Daya for the next term. So congratulations, Mustafa Bai. The final, so I need a nomination. You guys know the protocol now. I have Zaid Ali Keswani. Zaid Ali, assalamu alaikum. Who are you nominating?
Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to nominate Sahil Walji, please.
Thank you very much. So you are nominating Sahil Walji. Is Sahil Walji online?
Yes, I am.
And you're a member of KSIMC of London, paid up member, and happy to nominate, accept the nomination?
Yes and yes.
Thank you very much, Sahil. Can I have a seconder? Now, before Munir and Captain Max start again with each other, should I put both your names or is there somebody else going to come in?
I second Sahil Walji.
Your second, Sahil Walji? Who is that?
Muhammad Ali Datu, Potelo.
Muhammad Ali Datu, thank you very much for seconding Sahil Walji. Is there any other nomination for the post of Gents Sports Assistant Treasurer? If there isn't, congratulations, Sahil, for being elected under 18.1.1 as the Gents Sports Assistant Treasurer. Members, my responsibility was to transition SJ from SJ unincorporated to SSCIO and run the first set of elections. I take this opportunity to congratulate the trustees and the management committees for their election and wishing them every success to take the club to the next level. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah, jazakallah.
Doc, you have your hand up. Do you like to say something?
Yeah, so I want some clarification in the sense that now that SJ is one, so I can understand we have got Gents sort of sports head and assistant vice head. But why is the treasurer and assistant treasurer mentioned as Gents assistant treasurer? Should it be just SJ treasurer and SJ assistant treasurer? Just for a point of clarification.
Thank you, Dr. Munir. So whilst this is not an election matter, this goes to how the CIO was formed. So the CIO has both Gents treasurer, it has got a ladies treasurer as well under 18.1.1, and it has also got, so basically the management committee is two sets. There's a full Gents management committee and full ladies management committee, and both the management committees have got their respective treasurers and their respective assistant treasurers, and those are the names given to them. And the head of Gents and the head of ladies ownership of it. That is why we've got those names across down the line. It is the ladies team that have been transitioned because they had a recent set of elections. So their team have been transitioned in because they've already had that election to enable us to run the 3-year rotation model that we had suggested to the community at SJ. So therefore, the model works very well to allow the rotation to take place.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Shabar. As always, I love the way you quote the clauses in our constitution. I'd like to ask Wasim to also come up and join me as well as the new vice chair. The next item on the agenda is a bit of an asking Sabina Bai to go first, and then I will follow.
Okay. Members, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I appreciate it's been a long morning, so I'll try and keep this as short as possible. I just wanted to start by thanking Shafiq Uncle for all your contributions, your leadership of the club. I know I've expressed my sentiments privately to you, but you know you come up with pearls of wisdom at just the right time. So on behalf of all of the ladies, I just wanted to thank you. And thank you to the Gents team. I look forward to carrying on working with you. We've formed a good working relationship, and I look forward to that going forward. I know Sibten Uncle, I think, is still on the call. Thank you, Sibten Uncle, and your team at Hujjat for all of your support, and also look forward to working with you as well. So Just very quickly on our key pillars for ladies. We've got kind of overall as SJ, we've got 4 specific strategic pillars. The first one is building the SJ brand and putting us out there as a club, as a benchmark for communities locally and nationally. Secondly, integrating with regional and national sporting bodies to tap into the available resources out there that can help SJ to achieve their aims. Thirdly, embedding the CIO policies and structures and entrenching these as at the heart of the club to ensure good governance. And fourthly, in terms of strategic vision, fostering brotherhood and sisterhood and developing and inspiring members across both genders and generations to use sport as the platform for promoting health and well-being and also encouraging inclusivity and cohesion in the community at this difficult time for grassroots sports.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Smina Gavani and I'm the Ladies Vice Sports Lead. So just leading on from what Fiha said, the second area is operational focus for the term, with again 4 key themes that we've picked out. So first and foremost, and the absolute core to achieving all of the other themes that we will highlight, is volunteer engagement. We are blessed to have a core of dedicated and hardworking volunteers. However, with the size of the membership being more than 10 times greater than the number of volunteers and the growing sports and the opportunities that we have available, we are always looking for help. So please do join us.
Our second operational pillar is focusing specifically on our youth and our girls and building a strong youth setup for the girls. And that's again subject to operational pillar 1 that Samina mentioned in requirements of volunteers, and we hope we can build a fantastic girls sports club.
Number 3 is regular reflection and improvement in the quality of the sessions in the portfolio, giving members the opportunity to make wonderful memories here at SJ.
And finally, obviously we've had 2 to 3 years of missing SJ majors across the board. We're all very much looking forward to Al Wilaya, and our kind of focus for the upcoming couple of years will be to bring back these much loved SJ festivals, starting off with the Marhaba Festival of Brackets, which will be held in May. So that's the broad outlook for SJ over the next couple of years, and I'll hand back over to Shane.
Thank you both, Sabir and Samina, and I'm sure we'll continue to work together to deliver the 5-star service that we offer our members, that we've been offering our members for a long time. Assalamu alaikum, members. Again, it's close to Salah time, so I won't take too much of your time. I'd like to start my term as chair of Stanmore Jafferys, or as head of Gen Sports, as Shabar gives me the eyes, by thanking all of you for having the faith in me and in my ability and entrusting me to lead this club into the next 3 years. Shabar mentioned earlier that the history of Stanmore Jafferys can be traced back to the formation of the Ishnashri Union back in the late 50s. And then that morphed into what we have, the Jamaat and the Ishnashri Union Volunteer Corps, which then the Volunteer Corps moved to the Jamaat level, and then Stanmore Jafferys began its journey in the 70s. And Stanmore Jafferys has been on a journey throughout the last 30 or 40 years to make Stanmore Jafferys service the members' needs. And as we have done now, we have, I think it's fair to say that Stanmore Jafferys is a trailblazer, especially amongst the community sports. And we, if I do say so modestly, we have the other sports kind of organizations looking up to us for advice on how to embed and improve their structures. So just a reason for the brief history is to keep in mind how we have been changing constantly over time. At this point, a famous saying by Imam Ali comes to mind, and excuse me for reading, I don't want to get this wrong. So Imam Ali has a saying that whereby he said, "Do not raise your children the way your parents raised you. They were born for a different time." I think that also applies to our organizations, where we've always got to look to evolve and improve and keep serving the community in the way that it fits the current times. And as we've seen in the last 2 years with the pandemic, we've also had to adapt on the cuff and deliver a service to our members, which I think is fair to say has kept the community spirit alive. I'd like to thank Shafiq and his team for the guidance in helping me transition from my role as a head of volleyball to the vice chair and now onto the head of Gent Sports. Over the last 12 months, your support, Shafiq, has been invaluable. Likewise, Sabia and Samina, who were entrenched in HQ before I was. And as for Kayam, I mean, I can't say any more than has been said already. Likewise, Mustafa, always ready to give me the numbers I saw like seeing. I'll just give you a brief outlook into the next 2 or 3 years. The first thing we want to do is kind of consolidate our position. Stanmore Jafferys has grown massively in the last 3 or 4 years. We've had changes in our membership, we've had changes in our structure, and we need to consolidate our position and put in place processes that enable us to have a strong footing for the club and establishing and embedding the CIO into our ways of working. So that's the first thing for me, just consolidate a bit. There is always growth and development. And for me, growth and development happens in the way we grow our membership, in the types of sports we offer our membership, but also growth and development in our structures. And I think one of the key things we'll see over the next few weeks is the launch of our CRM, which will make the booking booking experience for our members very, very seamless. And we have really ambitious plans to integrate the CRM to be the heartbeat of everything that happens within SJ, and therefore give you a full outlook of what's happening at the club at any given moment in time. As an established CIO, we'll also now look for external funding and for grants. This will help consolidate and again stabilize the financial position of Stanmore Jafferys. There are lots of pots out there. As of last year, we have a dedicated team looking at this as their day-to-day job, and inshallah they will continue to deliver over the next 12 months. Our fourth priority will also be in terms of probably exploring the feasibility of letting, and maybe one day inshallah owning our own sporting facility that is dedicated with the primary focus to serve the members of Stanmore Jafferys first and foremost. And then last but not least, we will also look to support the Hairfield project. I'm sure all of you are aware of the movements in that area. Great work by Siptenbai and the team to get us to where we are now. But we will all require to join hands together and support this great initiative. And Siptenbai and your team, I can tell you hand on heart that Stanmore Jafferys will be by your side, inshallah, all the way through. I'd like to maybe hand over to Asim if he has a few words to say.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Firstly, just to say thank you very much to the outgoing team for all the kind guidance and support that you have provided us. This has given us a great a platform to move on. In addition to what Shane just mentioned, we're looking to consolidate our position, but we're also looking to bring more value to the membership as well, and that will be in form of partnerships. We already have partnerships, be it from haircuts to food to health and beauty. We're looking to ever expand that team. We want to ensure that we are reaching out to multi organizations with a view to growing our membership pot, as well as making sure that we can reinvest back into the club for a more secure future as well. We have some exciting partnerships already. We look to further augment our main charity partner, WF8, and we will hopefully grow our relationship with them over the next 2 years further. And of course, like Shane said, fully support the projects that are being espoused by Hujjat at the moment. And of course, we'll be fully behind that. We thank you all for your support. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Asim. We'll now close, but just before I close, on behalf of my team, and I think I speak on behalf of the ladies team as well here, that we will always look to serve the members of Stanmore Jafferys, and we will always put the club first and foremost. So please bear that in mind as we make decisions over the next few years. And I'd like to thank all the members for joining today, all the members who turn up every week, and of course, all the sports heads who put in enormous work to deliver success to this club, and I'm sure you'll all continue to deliver wonderfully to this great institution of ours. We'll now close with Ziyarat.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا تسعة المعصومين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان الأمان الأمان. السلام عليك يا طابة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. أجر الله فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهور الأمن ورحمة الله وبركاته.
We'll now officially close this meeting. Thank you and wassalam.